Across England and Wales over the last year, the average number of burglaries investigated through all forces, which resulted in a charge or asking the courts to take an offence into consideration, was just 5%. According to Statista.com, in 2021 to 2022, there were 266,283 burglaries in England and Wales. That means just 13,314 burglaries investigated resulted in a positive or potential positive outcome. Bearing in mind that just because someone was charged, it doesn't mean they were found guilty. Now, considering the law is based on common law of causing no harm, no loss, no damage to another person or property, you would think that burglaries would be right up there with the offences the police should be dealing with as a priority. Well, you would think so, but no. And why is that, you might ask? Well, in my opinion, it's because of the now politically motivated police forces we currently have, which are more concerned about appeasing minority groups by arresting someone because their opinion doesn't quite fit the minority narrative. Of course, fearing and looking like they are doing government's bidding for them, the police will argue it's due to lack of police numbers. However, they always seem to be able to rally the troops when there is a hurty word offence or protest they don't agree with. But although you lot are all quite lucky to have even 5% of burglaries that's result in a charge here in Liverpool, where, like London and Leicester in recent weeks and months, crime rates are running away from the police. It seems that out of 5,141 burglaries investigated, 4,241 of those were closed with no suspect being identified, with only 189 resulting in a charge or summons. And that's only 3.9% of burglaries where a suspect is identified. But the worst was Hampshire Constabulary, with a rate of just 2.6%. Sir Mark Rowley, the new Metropolitan Police Commissioner, said recently that burglaries were too serious an intrusion not to have a police officer attend. And he said it is unacceptable that the proportion of reported burglaries attended by an officer from the force has fallen to 50%, with the HMICFRS ordering forces to improve their response to burglaries, thefts and robberies. The HMICFRS said in a report that forces were missing opportunities to identify and catch offenders. No doubt because they're too busy virtue signalling, dancing the Macarena and taking the knee. His Majesty's Chief Inspector of Constabulary, Andy Cook, interestingly the ex-Merseyside chief, said burglary, robbery and theft are not minor crimes. They are crimes that strike at the heart of how safe people feel in their own homes or communities. The current low charge rate for these crimes are unacceptable and unsustainable. There needs to be a concerted drive to address this issue because it directly affects the public's confidence in the police's ability to keep them safe. Detective Inspector Steve Byram from Merseyside Police said we have a dedicated burglary team called Operation Castle, who focus on hotspot areas and particular types of burglary. Since Operation Castle was launched in 2018, the team has successfully reduced the number of burglaries by 55% in the region and secured convictions for burglary offenders with sentences amounting to more than 600 years in prison. Now, let's not forget that 55% reduction does not mean police are doing a good job. It could simply be that people are not reporting the crime, which means the numbers would drop because of that also, and police would have less to investigate. As a result, the number of reports of burglary crimes reported to Merseyside Police has decreased and has done since Operation Castle was established 4 years ago. See, less reports. But again, it doesn't mean because of the police doing a good job. It's also important to note that the detection rate for burglaries was 6% in 2022 to 2021, and since the beginning of this year, the detection rate is at 5%. The fact that there is less burglary crime means that we are targeting the correct offenders and getting them the jail time they deserve. Allegedly, but then we all know how a copper's logic works, and it's certainly not the same as the rest of us. Astonishingly low percentages there, and I'm sure there are other offences with rates just as, if not more shocking than that of burglaries. I'm just glad my flat's booby-trapped in a way that would make it look like the burglar did it to themselves. Shh. Anyway, since these revelations, police forces across the UK have pledged to attend every burglary. So my request to you is, if you are a victim of a burglary moving forward, please let me know if the police have attended, how they dealt with it, how much faith you have in the police actually dealing with the incident properly, and whether or not there is a positive conclusion. You can email me at policeabusingpowers@gmail.com, put in burglary as the subject title, so I can get an idea and maybe report on the channel just how well police are doing with their new pledge to attend every burglary.